Czech firearms company Česká Zbrojovka Group (CZG) has bought iconic firearms manufacturer Colt. The deal is worth $220 million in cash and stock. Colt has been manufacturing firearms since the early 19th century and has supplied guns for the military and law enforcement. CZG already owns a host of other firearms companies, including Dan Wesson and Brno Rifles. Reuters reports the company is currently building a factory in Little Rock. Colt has been struggling and filed for bankruptcy in 2015. Colt officials stated that they hope the acquisition will help the company regain some of its past glory and ensure financial stability. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer All Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. India and China have reached an agreement for peaceful disengagement following 9 rounds of commander-level talks. Viewers may note that the countries have been engaged in a bitter standoff for 8 months. The agreement stipulates that forces deployed on the north and south bank of Pangong Lake will cease their forward deployments in a phased, coordinated, and verified manner, which both countries have begun to see through. The Indian Army released images of the disengagement with a 75-second video showing leaders from the Indian Army and People's Liberation Army (PLA) meeting and shaking hands in the Chusil sector of the eastern Ladakh region. The clip also shows a PLA Type 99 tank move back from its forward deployment towards its permanent base, and an Indian Army T-72 tank doing the same. Iran's intelligence minister, Mahmoud Alavi, has warned that Iran could reverse its decision, taken in the 1990s, not to develop nuclear weapons. This comes at a time when the country has moved to increase uranium enrichment, which could potentially provide the materials needed to construct a nuke. The minister stated, "The Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, has explicitly said in his fatwa that nuclear weapons are against Sharia law, and the Islamic Republic sees them as religiously forbidden and does not pursue them. But a cornered cat may behave differently from when the cat is free. And if they, Western states, push Iran in that direction, then it's no longer Iran's fault." Iran wants American economic sanctions to be removed before it returns to compliance with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA) nuclear deal. The U.S. under the Trump administration had unilaterally withdrawn from the deal, citing non-compliance and imposed stringent sanctions. Vympel Missile Design Bureau, which is the leading developer of air-to-air missiles in Russia, has revealed that it's working on what seems to be a new short-range air-to-air missile type. Though the designation Izdalai 300M seems to be new, it's actually a continuation of an earlier advanced short-range air-to-air missile program, the Izdalai 300. It's intended to replace the Vympel R-73, known in the West as the AA-11 Archer. Though the R-73 has been an excellent weapon, its performance currently falls short of American AIM-9X Sidewinder or the European Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile, ASRAAM. The new weapon is expected to fill this gap. Israel's cabinet approved an Israeli Air Force request to use U.S. foreign military financing and loans to fund approximately $9 billion worth of U.S. military aircraft and weapons. The Israeli Air Force is planning to acquire new American fighter aircraft, air refuelers, and helicopters. The potential purchases are expected to help maintain its qualitative military edge over any regional adversary, especially Iran. As per reports, for fighter jets, F-35 and F-15EX are being considered. While the F-35 is stealthy and incorporates advanced sensors, F-15EX can carry roughly 30,000 pounds of weapons, which is much more than F-35s, which can carry a maximum of 18,000 pounds. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force will be equipped with 3 transport vessels in 2024 for its units stationed on remote southwestern islands. One of the vessels will be medium-sized and around 2,000 tons, while the other 2 will have a displacement of around 400 tons. With the 3 vessels to be built and deployed, Japan aims to stably supply ammunition, fuel, and food to the troops on the remote islands, according to the sources. The Defense Ministry aims to secure a fiscal 2022 budget for the construction of the 3 ships. This is part of the larger effort to counter China. China's been sending ships to Japan's territorial waters near the Senkaku Islands, which it calls Diaoyu, and this has been a source of tension between the 2 countries for some time. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar said in an interview with a Turkish newspaper, Hürriyet, "There is no decision to use them, S-400s, constantly. Adding the missiles could be deployed only if Turkey comes under threat." He further stated that the country is open to a deal similar to the one with Greece, another NATO member, which was made after it bought S-300s, an older generation Russian defense system, in 1997. Akar reiterated Ankara's calls for talks with the United States over the Russian S-400s, which has so far been ignored by new U.S. President Joe Biden's administration. The Turkish minister said, "We have said the negotiations could be held under the umbrella of NATO." NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also said he was positive about the issue. Purchase of Russian S-400 has been a major contentious issue between Turkey and the U.S., along with NATO, which has resulted in the removal of Turkey from the F-35 program. U.S. is of the view that Russia would secretly get signatures of its jets, including the F-35, using S-400. The deal will also provide funds to the cash-strapped Russian defense sector. Turkey has stated that it's not planning to integrate S-400 into its NATO armaments, and the system would not pose a threat to U.S. systems or the alliance.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.